stop scrolling for a moment. If there is someone in your life you simply cannot forget, someone who still has a place in your heart, then maybe this message is for you. Maybe that person is distant right now. Maybe they stopped talking to you. Maybe you feel like everything is over. But remember this. Not every distance means the end. Sometimes, God allows distance because He is preparing two hearts for something you cannot see yet. You may be asking, God, if this person was meant to be in my life, then why did I have to go through so much pain? Because not every relationship reveals its purpose immediately. Sometimes God brings someone into your life to teach you love, patience, forgiveness, and most importantly, how to trust Him. So don't chase that person and lose your peace. Don't force them to stay. Instead, pray. Say, Lord, if this person is truly part of your plan for my life, bring our paths together again at the right time. And if they are not, give me the strength to accept your plan. Because what God has planned for you will never require you to destroy your peace just to keep it. Maybe right now, you don't understand what is happening. But God can see the part of the story that you cannot see yet. So don't give up today. Not because of that person, but because you should never give up on your faith in God. Your story is not over. Maybe God is writing something in your life right now that will one day make you say, now I understand why God made me wait. Maybe right now, you are wondering if you should keep believing. You have prayed about this person. You have waited. You have hoped. But nothing seems to be changing. And deep inside, you are asking, God, how much longer? Listen carefully. Sometimes God's silence is not rejection. Sometimes His silence is preparation. You may not see what He is doing behind the scenes, but that does not mean He is doing nothing. While you are waiting, God may be working on your heart. He may be teaching you not to depend on another person for your happiness. He may be teaching you to love without losing yourself. He may be teaching you that your identity comes from Him, not from whether someone chooses you or walks away. So if that person is truly meant to be part of your journey, don't try to control the outcome. Give it to God. If they need to come back, let God open the door. If they need to change, let God work in their heart. And if you need to change, allow God to work in yours. Because sometimes the miracle isn't simply bringing two people back together. Sometimes the miracle is transforming two hearts before they meet again. So keep praying. Keep growing. Keep trusting. And most importantly, keep your heart close to God. Because when God is leading your story, you don't have to live in fear. You don't have to wonder every single day whether everything will work out. You can simply say, Lord, I trust you with this person. I trust you with my future. And I trust you even when I cannot understand what you are doing. And remember, if God has a purpose for that relationship, no distance can stop His purpose. But if His plan is different, trust Him anyway. Because God's greatest blessing may not always look like what you asked for. Sometimes His yes is a person. Sometimes His wait is preparation. And sometimes His no is protection. Whatever His answer is, trust God. Your story is still in His hands. There comes a moment when you have to stop asking, will this person come back, and start asking, can I trust God with whatever happens next? Because sometimes, the hardest part is not losing someone. The hardest part is not knowing what God is doing. You remember the conversations. You remember the moments you shared. You remember how that person made you feel. And sometimes, one small memory is enough to bring everything back. You start wondering, was it real? Did God really bring this person into my life? Should I keep waiting? But listen carefully. You don't need to have all the answers today. You only need enough faith to take the next step. Maybe God is asking you to stop looking at the empty space beside you and start looking at Him. Because when your eyes are fixed on another person, you can easily forget the one who created you. Your worth was never determined by whether someone stayed. Your future was never dependent on whether someone chose you. And your happiness was never supposed to rest completely in another human being. God knows your heart. He knows how deeply you cared. He knows every prayer you whispered when nobody else was listening. He knows the nights when you smiled in front of everyone but cried when you were alone. And He has not ignored a single prayer. So don't believe the lie that your waiting has been meaningless. Maybe this season is building something inside you. Maybe God is making you stronger. Maybe He is teaching you patience. Maybe He is preparing you for a relationship that will be healthier, stronger, and centered on Him. And if that person truly belongs in your future, you don't have to manipulate the situation to make it happen. You don't have to chase. You don't have to beg. You don't have to lose yourself trying to keep someone. Let God lead. Because what God brings into your life should bring you closer to Him, not farther away from Him. So today, surrender that person. Not because you don't care anymore, but because you trust God more. Say this prayer in your heart. Father, you know how much I care about this person. You know every hope I have carried in my heart. If this relationship is part of your perfect plan, prepare both of us and bring us together at the right time. But if your plan is different, give me peace. Help me let go without bitterness. Help me move forward without fear. And never let me lose my faith in you. Remember, God is not late. God is not confused. God has not forgotten you. Sometimes the door you are desperately trying to open is not the door God wants you to enter. And sometimes, the door you thought was permanently closed can open again at exactly the right moment. So don't force the door. Don't run ahead of God. Wait. Pray. Grow. Trust. And keep walking with Him. Because your story is bigger than one person. Your life has a purpose. Your future has a purpose. And God's plans for you are GRE. Maybe you are still waiting for a sign. You are wondering if you should hold on or finally let go. But sometimes, God doesn't give you a sign because He wants to give you something deeper. Faith. Faith means trusting God even when you cannot see the next chapter. You may not know what tomorrow will bring. You may not know whether that person will return. You may not know how your story will end. But you can know this. God is still with you. So stop living every day waiting for a message, a call, or a notification. Don't let your peace depend on someone's decision. Wake up every morning and remind yourself. My life is in God's hands. If that person is meant to return, let God bring them back with a changed heart and a clear purpose. And if they don't return, trust that God can heal the empty space they left behind. Because sometimes we ask God to restore a relationship, while God is trying to restore us. Maybe He wants to rebuild your confidence. Maybe He wants to heal your heart. Maybe He wants you to discover your purpose. Maybe He wants you to understand that you were never abandoned. You were simply being redirected. So don't look at this season as punishment. Look at it as preparation. Every tear can teach you something. Every disappointment can make you stronger. Every unanswered prayer can bring you closer to God. And every waiting season can prepare you for something you are not ready to receive yet. So today, release the fear. Release the obsession. Release the need to know exactly what will happen. Give that person to God. Give your future to God. Give your heart to God. And say, Lord, I trust you even when I don't understand you. If this person belongs in my future, let your will bring us together. If they don't, help me move forward without losing my faith. That is real surrender. Because real faith doesn't say, God, give me exactly what I want. Real faith says, God, give me what you know is best. And when you reach that place, something beautiful happens. You stop chasing answers. And you start experiencing peace. You stop worrying about who will stay. And you start trusting the one who will never leave you. So keep going. Your story is not finished. Your heart will heal. Your purpose will become clearer. And God's plan will unfold in His perfect time. Maybe the person you are waiting for will return. Maybe God will lead you somewhere completely unexpected. But whatever happens, don't lose yourself, and don't lose God, trying to hold on to someone else. Your future is still in His hands. Trust Him. Wait on Him. And keep walking forward. Because sometimes the greatest blessing is not getting the person you wanted, but becoming the person God created you to be. And now, maybe this is the moment where you finally understand. You were never supposed to carry this relationship alone. You were never supposed to spend every night wondering why they changed. You were never supposed to beg someone to recognize your value. God knows your heart. He knows how much you cared. He knows every prayer you prayed when nobody was watching. And He knows the tears you never told anyone about. So today, put that person completely in God's hands. If they are truly part of your future, God knows how to bring them back. And if they are not, God knows how to heal your heart and lead you towards something better. Either way, you win when you trust God. Don't allow disappointment to make you believe that love is over. Don't allow one broken relationship to make you believe that your life is broken. You still have a purpose. You still have a future. And God is still writing your story. Maybe you thought that person was your final chapter. But perhaps they were only one chapter in a much bigger story. And maybe the pain you experienced was not the end of your journey. Maybe it was the beginning of your transformation. You learned to pray. You learned to wait. You learned to forgive. You learned that people can change. But God never changes. So don't go back to yesterday just because you are afraid of tomorrow. Walk forward. Trust God. Let Him heal what you cannot fix. Let Him close what needs to be closed. Let Him reopen what He wants restored. And never forget this. What God has planned for your life cannot be destroyed by one person's decision. If that person is meant to walk beside you, God can make the path clear. But if God is leading you in another direction, don't fight Him. His plan may hurt for a moment. But His purpose can bless you for a lifetime. So tonight, close your eyes and pray. Father, I surrender this person to you. I surrender my feelings, my questions, my fears, and my future. If this relationship is your will, restore it in your perfect time. If it is not, give me peace to let go. Heal my heart and help me trust you again. I choose your plan over my own. And now, breathe. You don't have to figure everything out tonight. You don't have to know what tomorrow will bring. Just trust the one who already knows. Maybe your miracle is closer than you think. Maybe your breakthrough is happening quietly. Maybe God is preparing something you cannot see yet. So don't give up. Don't lose hope. Don't stop praying. And most importantly, don't stop trusting God. Because the right person, the right season, and the right blessing will never have to be forced. What God wants for you will come in His time. And when it does, you will understand why He asked you to wait. Until then, keep your heart peaceful. Keep your faith strong. Keep walking with God. Because your story is not over. Maybe today, you are finally ready to stop looking back. Not because you stopped caring, but because you finally understand that your future cannot be built by constantly living in the past. There was a time when you prayed for that person to come back. You asked God for another chance. You imagined what life could have looked like. And maybe a part of you is still waiting. But now, place that waiting in God's hands. Because sometimes the greatest act of faith is saying, God, I still care, but I trust you more than I trust my feelings. If that person is truly part of your story, God knows exactly how to bring your paths together again. And if they are not, God can give you something you never thought possible. Peace. Not the kind of peace that comes when everything goes your way. The kind of peace that remains even when you don't have all the answers. That is the peace God wants to give you. So stop asking, why did they leave? Start asking, what is God teaching me through this? Stop asking, will they come back? Start asking, how can I become closer to God while I wait? Stop asking, what if I lose them? And start saying, even if I lose them, I will not lose God. Because people may come and go. Circumstances may change. Feelings may change. But God remains faithful. Maybe this season has made you stronger than you realize. Maybe the tears you cried were watering the ground where your future faith will grow. Maybe the heartbreak you thought would destroy you actually brought you closer to the one who can heal you completely. So don't be ashamed of what you felt. Don't be ashamed that you cared. Love deeply. Forgive freely. But never forget your value. You are not defined by someone's choice. You are not rejected because someone walked away. And you are not forgotten because someone stopped calling. Your identity comes from God. Your future is in His hands. And your purpose is bigger than one relationship. So today, let go of the need to control the outcome. Let God decide who stays. Let God decide who returns. Let God decide which doors open and which doors close. Your responsibility is simple. Trust Him. Keep praying. Keep growing. Keep moving forward. And if one day that person comes back, don't just ask whether you still love them. Ask whether the relationship brings you both closer to God, peace, truth, and purpose. Because love isn't just about holding on. Sometimes love means surrendering. Sometimes faith means waiting. And sometimes wisdom means walking away. Whatever God chooses, trust Him. Because His plan is not designed to destroy you. It is designed to lead you toward the life He has prepared for you. So if your heart is still hurting, say this one more time. God, I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I know You hold tomorrow. And that is enough. Your story is still being written. Your best chapter may still be ahead. So lift your head. Maybe you have been waiting for this moment for a long time. A moment when your heart would finally feel peaceful again. A moment when you would stop asking questions and simply trust God. And maybe that moment is today. You may still think about that person. You may still remember the good moments. You may still wonder what could have been. But you don't have to carry those questions forever. Give them to God. Because sometimes God doesn't change the situation immediately. He changes you in the middle of the situation. He gives you strength where you thought you had none. He gives you peace where there was anxiety. He gives you hope where there was disappointment. And slowly, you begin to realize, I am going to be okay. Not because you know what will happen next, but because you know who is walking with you. So if that person comes back one day, welcome them with wisdom, prayer, and a heart that has healed. Don't return to the same broken patterns. Don't repeat the same mistakes. Let God build something new. And if that person never comes back, don't believe that your story ended with them. Your story continues. There are still dreams to pursue. There are still prayers to pray. There are still people you will meet. There are still blessings you have never imagined. And most importantly, there is still a purpose God has placed inside your life. So don't let one person become bigger than God's plan for you. Love them if you must. Remember them if you need to. But place them in God's hands. Because sometimes the most powerful prayer is not, God, make them come back. Sometimes it is, God, let your will be done. That prayer requires courage. Because you are trusting God with an answer you cannot control. But when you surrender like that, your heart becomes free. Free from fear. Free from desperation. Free from constantly checking your phone. Free from wondering whether someone still cares. You begin to live again. You begin to smile again. You begin to dream again. And one day, you will look back and realize, God was with you through every single moment. The distance. The silence. The tears. The waiting. The healing. He never left. So don't give up on your faith just because one relationship didn't happen the way you expected. God is bigger than your disappointment. His purpose is bigger than your pain. And His love is greater than anything you could ever lose. So today, make a decision. You will trust God. You will protect your peace. You will continue growing. You will stop forcing what God has not opened. And you will believe that your future is still beautiful. Maybe the person will return. Maybe they won't. But either way, God will still be with you. And that is the greatest promise. So take one final breath. Release the past. Release the fear. Release the unanswered questions. And say, Father, I trust you with my heart. I trust you with my relationship. Maybe you have been asking God for one thing for so long that you forgot to notice everything He has already done. You prayed for that person. You prayed for restoration. You prayed for another chance. But perhaps God has been answering your prayers in a way you never expected. Maybe He has been protecting you. Maybe He has been healing you. Maybe He has been preparing you for something greater. Sometimes, we think a blessing must look like getting back what we lost. But sometimes the blessing is discovering that we can live peacefully without it. And that is not failure. That is growth. If someone is truly meant to be part of your future, you don't need to spend every day trying to make it happen. God doesn't need your fear to accomplish His purpose. He doesn't need your desperation. He doesn't need you to chase someone. He simply needs you to trust Him. So let go of the pressure. Let go of the constant questions. Let go of the need to know exactly when everything will happen. God's timing is not your timing. And His ways are higher than yours. Maybe today you are standing at the beginning of a new chapter. You don't know where it will lead. You don't know who will stay. You don't know who will leave. But you can walk forward with confidence because God already knows the destination. And if you fall, He can lift you. If you become tired, He can strengthen you. If you feel lost, He can guide you. If your heart breaks again, He can heal you. So don't be afraid of the future. Don't let yesterday control tomorrow. You have survived things you once thought would destroy you. You have made it through days you didn't think you could survive. And you are still here. That means God has carried you farther than you realize. So thank Him. Thank Him for the person who stayed. Thank Him for the person who left. Thank Him for the doors that opened. Thank Him for the doors that closed. Because every part of your journey can teach you something. And one day, you may look back and say, God, now I understand. Now I understand why you made me wait. Now I understand why you didn't answer the way I wanted. Now I understand why some people had to leave. Now I understand why you kept telling me to trust you. Because God was never trying to take your future away. He was preparing you for it. So keep your heart open to God. Not to fear. Not to desperation. Not to the past. To God. And if that person returns, let the relationship be built on truth, respect, healing, and faith. If they don't return, let your life still move forward with joy. Because your happiness cannot depend on one person. Your purpose cannot depend on one relationship. Your future belongs to God. So tonight, release everything. Say, Lord, I surrender what I cannot control. I surrender the person I cannot change. I surrender the future I cannot see. Take my heart and lead me according to your perfect will. Then rest. Why? Maybe you are finally beginning to understand that trusting God does not mean you will always get the answer you wanted. It means you trust Him even when the answer is difficult. Maybe that person will come back. Maybe they won't. But your life cannot remain frozen while you wait for someone else to make a decision. You have a purpose. You have dreams. You have a future. And God is still calling you forward. So don't spend another day asking, why did they leave me? Ask instead, God, where are you leading me now? That question can change your life. Because sometimes God allows someone to leave so you can discover who you are without them. Sometimes He removes a relationship because it was keeping you from becoming the person He created you to be. And sometimes He allows the distance because both hearts need time to grow. You don't have to know which one it is today. Just trust God. If that person is meant to return, let God handle the timing. And if they don't, trust that God can fill your future with new purpose, new peace, and new blessings. Don't chase what God has not asked you to chase. Don't force a door that God has not opened. Walk forward with faith. Your heart may still hurt, but healing takes time. Be patient with yourself. Pray when you feel weak. Pray when you feel lonely. Pray when you don't understand. And remember that God hears you. The person you miss may not know what is happening inside your heart. But God knows. He sees every tear. He hears every prayer. He understands every unanswered question. And He will never leave you alone in your pain. So today, surrender again. Say, Father, I trust you with the person I love. I trust you with my past, my present, and my future. Whatever you choose, help me accept it with faith and peace. Then keep moving. Your story is bigger than one relationship. Your future is bigger than one goodbye. And God's plan is bigger than anything you can see right now. Don't give up on God. The chapter may be painful. But the story is not over. This is where you finally let God have the last word. Not your fear. Not your loneliness. Not your past. God. You may never understand why that person came into your life. You may never understand why they left. And you may never know what could have happened if things had been different. But you don't need every answer to have peace. Sometimes faith means closing your eyes and saying, God, I trust you even without an explanation. If that person is meant to return, let God bring them back in His perfect timing. And if they are not, don't spend your life standing at a closed door. Turn around. Look forward. There is still a life waiting for you. There are still prayers God wants to answer. There are still dreams He wants you to pursue. There are still chapters you haven't read. So don't let yesterday steal tomorrow. You loved. You cared. You prayed. Now surrender. Let God heal what you cannot heal yourself. Let Him restore your peace. Let Him rebuild your heart. And when you finally stop trying to control everything, you will discover something beautiful. God was never asking you to carry the whole story. He was asking you to trust Him with it. So if your heart is still holding on, don't be ashamed. Simply place that person in God's hands one more time. Say, Lord, if this relationship is your will, guide it. If it is not, release me from it. Whatever happens, don't let me lose you. And then breathe. You are going to be okay. Not because you know what tomorrow holds, but because God holds tomorrow. Maybe the person will return. Maybe God will bring someone new. Maybe God will lead you somewhere you never expected. Whatever happens, trust Him. Because the greatest blessing is not always getting the person you wanted. Sometimes the greatest blessing is becoming the person God created you to be. So keep your faith. Keep your peace. Keep praying. And keep walking forward. Your story is not finished. Maybe you thought this story was only about one person. But perhaps it was never just about them. Perhaps it was about what God wanted to do inside of you. Maybe you entered this season believing that the answer was getting someone back. But God may have been showing you that the greatest answer was finding your way back to Him. Think about everything you have been through. The waiting. The silence. The unanswered prayers. The nights when you wondered if anything would ever change. You may have felt forgotten. But God never forgot you. There were moments when you couldn't see Him working, but He was still there. There were doors you wanted opened that He kept closed. There were conversations you wanted to happen that never happened. There were people you wanted to stay who eventually walked away. And you wondered why. But sometimes God protects us from things we are begging Him to give us. Sometimes the relationship we desperately want is not the relationship we actually need. And sometimes God allows something to end because He knows what we cannot see. That doesn't mean your love was meaningless. It doesn't mean your prayers were wasted. It doesn't mean the memories meant nothing. It simply means that God's plan is bigger than one chapter of your life. So don't spend your future trying to recreate your past. Take what you learned. Take the growth. Take the wisdom. Take the faith. And leave the pain in God's hands. If that person comes back, let them come back with purpose. Let there be honesty. Let there be healing. Let there be changed hearts. Don't return simply because you miss them. Return only if the relationship can become something healthy, peaceful, and centered on God. And if they never come back, don't believe that your best days are behind you. They aren't. God can still surprise you. He can open doors you never expected. He can bring people into your life who respect your heart. He can give you peace that no relationship could ever provide. So stop thinking that your life is waiting for another person to begin. Your life is happening right now. This moment matters. This day matters. Your purpose matters. You have people to encourage. Dreams to pursue. Prayers to pray. And a future to walk into. So don't stay stuck in yesterday. God is calling you forward. Maybe you don't know exactly where you're going. That's okay. Abraham didn't know every detail when God called him to move. Faith has never required you to see the entire road. It only requires you to trust the one who sees it. So take the next step. Then another. And another. Let God guide you one day at a time. And when you feel lonely, remember this. You are never truly alone when God is with you. When your phone is silent, God still hears your prayers. When people don't understand your tears, God understands them. When you feel forgotten, God remembers you. When you feel weak, He can strengthen you. Maybe you thought this story was only about one person. But perhaps it was never just about them. Perhaps it was about what God wanted to do inside of you. Maybe you entered this season believing that the answer was getting someone back. But God may have been showing you that the greatest answer was finding your way back to Him. Think about everything you have been through. The waiting. The silence. The unanswered prayers. The nights when you wondered if anything would ever change. You may have felt forgotten. But God never forgot you. There were moments when you couldn't see Him working, but He was still there. There were doors you wanted opened that He kept closed. There were conversations you wanted to happen that never happened. There were people you wanted to stay who eventually walked away. And you wondered why. But sometimes God protects us from things we are begging Him to give us. Sometimes the relationship we desperately want is not the relationship we actually need. And sometimes God allows something to end because He knows what we cannot see. That doesn't mean your love was meaningless. It doesn't mean your prayers were wasted. It doesn't mean the memories meant nothing. It simply means that God's plan is bigger than one chapter of your life. So don't spend your future trying to recreate your past. Take what you learned. Take the growth. Take the wisdom. Take the faith. And leave the pain in God's hands. If that person comes back, let them come back with purpose. Let there be honesty. Let there be healing. Let there be changed hearts. Don't return simply because you miss them. Return only if the relationship can become something healthy, peaceful, and centered on God. And if they never come back, don't believe that your best days are behind you. They aren't. God can still surprise you. He can open doors you never expected. He can bring people into your life who respect your heart. He can give you peace that no relationship could ever provide. So stop thinking that your life is waiting for another person to begin. Your life is happening right now. This moment matters. This day matters. Your purpose matters. You have people to encourage. Dreams to pursue. Prayers to pray. And a future to walk into. So don't stay stuck in yesterday. God is calling you forward. Maybe you don't know exactly where you're going. That's okay. Abraham didn't know every detail when God called him to move. Faith has never required you to see the entire road. It only requires you to trust the one who sees it. So take the next step. Then another. And another. Let God guide you one day at a time. And when you feel lonely, remember this. You are never truly alone when God is with you. When your phone is silent, God still hears your prayers. When people don't understand your tears, God understands them. When you feel forgotten, God remembers you. When you feel weak, He can strengthen you. There is a moment in every waiting season when you have to make a choice. You can keep living in fear of what might happen. Or you can finally place everything in God's hands. Maybe you still think about that person. Maybe a part of your heart still hopes they will return. And that's okay. You don't have to pretend that you never cared. You don't have to erase every memory. You simply have to stop allowing those memories to control your future. Because God did not create you to live forever in yesterday. He created you to move forward. Maybe you are waiting for a message. Maybe you are waiting for an apology. Maybe you are waiting for another chance. But while you are waiting for someone else, God may be waiting for you to trust Him. Trust Him with the silence. Trust Him with the distance. Trust Him with the unanswered questions. And trust Him with the outcome. Because you don't need to know what God is doing to know that He is faithful. There are things happening behind the scenes that you cannot see. God can change hearts. God can open doors. God can close doors. God can bring people together. And God can give you the strength to walk away when something is no longer good for you. So don't force anything. Don't chase anyone. Don't lose your peace trying to control something that belongs in God's hands. If that person is meant to return, let God bring them back with honesty, maturity, and a heart ready to build something better. And if they don't return, don't believe that God has abandoned you. Maybe He is protecting you from a future you cannot see. Maybe He is preparing you for a blessing you are not ready for yet. Maybe He is teaching you that your happiness does not depend on one person. Your worth is not measured by who chooses you. Your value comes from God. So today, stop asking, Why wasn't I enough? Instead ask, God, what are you preparing me for? That question can change everything. Because maybe this season isn't about losing someone. Maybe it is about finding yourself again. Finding your confidence. Finding your purpose. Finding your faith. Finding peace. And most importantly, finding a deeper relationship with God. One day, you may look back at this painful season and realize that it was not the season that destroyed you. It was the season that strengthened you. The tears taught you. The silence taught you. The waiting taught you. And God used every difficult moment to bring you closer to Him. So don't give up. Keep praying. Keep growing. Keep trusting. And when your heart starts feeling afraid again, remember. You don't have to know the ending. You only have to trust the author. God knows where this story is going. He knows who belongs in your future. He knows what your heart needs. And He knows exactly when the right season will come. So release the person. Release the past. Release the fear. And place everything into God's hands. Then walk forward. There is something you need to understand about waiting on God. Waiting does not mean that God has forgotten you. Waiting means God is preparing something that you cannot see yet. Maybe you have been praying for someone to come back into your life. Maybe you still think about them every day. Maybe you still hope that one day everything will become normal again. But listen carefully. You don't have to chase what God has not asked you to chase. You don't have to force a conversation. You don't have to beg someone to stay. And you don't have to lose your peace just because someone is distant. Give that person to God. If they are truly meant to be part of your future, God knows how to bring them back at the right time. And when God does it, you won't have to destroy your dignity to make it happen. There will be clarity. There will be honesty. There will be growth. There will be peace. But if that person is not meant to return, don't believe that your life is over. Your story is much bigger than one relationship. God can still bring new people, new opportunities, new dreams, and new blessings into your life. Maybe right now you cannot imagine being happy without that person. But God can heal a heart that feels completely broken. He can give you peace where there was confusion. He can give you strength where there was weakness. And He can give you hope when you feel like there is nothing left to hope for. So don't make one person the center of your entire life. Make God the center. Because people can change. People can leave. People can disappoint you. But God remains faithful. When everyone else is silent, God still hears you. When you feel forgotten, God still remembers you. When you don't know what to do, God can guide you. And when your heart is hurting, God can bring healing. So today, change the way you pray. Instead of saying, God, please make this person come back. Say, God, if this person is truly part of your plan, bring us together in your perfect timing. But if your plan is different, give me the strength to accept it and the courage to move forward. That prayer requires faith. Because you are no longer trying to control the ending. You are trusting the author of your story. And sometimes, that is where the greatest peace begins. You may not know what tomorrow holds. You may not know whether that person will call. You may not know whether the relationship will be restored. But you can know this. God is already in your tomorrow. He knows what is coming. He knows what you need. He knows which doors should open. And He knows which doors should remain closed. So don't be afraid of the future. Don't allow yesterday to steal the joy of today. You have a life to live. You have a purpose to fulfill. You have dreams to pursue. You have people to help. You have prayers to pray. And you have a God who has not abandoned you. Maybe this painful season is preparing you for so. Maybe this is the season when God is teaching you the difference between holding on and trusting Him. Sometimes we hold on because we are afraid of losing someone. We hold on to old conversations, old memories, old promises, old possibilities. We keep thinking, maybe tomorrow they will come back. But there is a point where you have to stop holding the situation in your own hands and place it completely in God's hands. That doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop controlling. You say, God, I love this person, but I trust you more than I trust my own feelings. That is real faith. Because if the relationship is meant to be restored, God can restore it. He doesn't need you to chase. He doesn't need you to beg. He doesn't need you to lose your peace. He can create the right circumstances at the right time. And if the relationship is not meant to continue, God can give you the courage to walk forward. You may not understand it today. But one day you may realize that what felt like rejection was actually protection. What felt like an ending was actually preparation. And what felt like silence was actually God teaching you to trust Him. So don't be afraid of what you cannot control. You don't know what tomorrow will bring. But God does. You don't know who will stay. But God knows. You don't know which door will open. But God knows. And that is enough. Your responsibility is not to control the future. Your responsibility is to trust God with it. So live today. Take care of your heart. Work toward your purpose. Pray. Grow. Heal. And stop putting your entire life on hold for one person. If they return, let God guide the relationship. If they don't, let God guide your next chapter. Either way, keep moving forward. Because your life has meaning beyond one relationship. You were created for more than waiting for someone's message. You were created for purpose. You were created to grow. You were created to love. You were created to make a difference. So don't let one person's absence make you forget your identity. God still has plans for you. Your story is still unfolding. And the chapter you are living today is not the final chapter. Maybe the person you are waiting for will return. Maybe God will bring someone else. Maybe God will use this season to draw you closer to Him in a way you never experienced before. Whatever happens, don't lose your faith. Because people may change. Circumstances may change. But God's faithfulness does not change. So tonight, surrender one more time. Father, I give you the person I cannot control. I give you the future I cannot see. If your will is to restore this relationship, prepare us and guide us. If your will is to lead me somewhere else, give me peace to follow you. Whatever happens, keep my heart close to you. Then rest. You don't have to figure everything out tonight. God is already ahead of you. And if He is ahead of you, you can W. Maybe you are beginning to realize that the hardest part was never waiting for that person. The hardest part was learning to trust God without knowing what would happen. You wanted an answer. You wanted certainty. You wanted to know whether they would return. But God may be teaching you something greater than certainty. He may be teaching you faith. Faith says, I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I know God is already there. So don't be afraid of tomorrow. If that person is meant to return, let God handle the timing. If they are not, let God give you the strength to move forward. You don't have to force either outcome. You can simply trust. Maybe today your heart still feels heavy. That's okay. Healing doesn't happen in one night. Give yourself time. Take your pain to God. Talk to Him honestly. Tell Him what you miss. Tell Him what hurts. Tell Him what you hope for. And then surrender it. Because God can handle everything you place in His hands. Don't let the past become a prison. The relationship happened. The memories happened. The pain happened. But your future is still ahead of you. There are still things God wants you to experience. There are still lessons you need to learn. There are still people you will meet. There are still prayers that will be answered. So don't stop living while waiting for someone else. Keep growing. Keep working. Keep praying. Keep becoming stronger. And if that person comes back, let it happen naturally. Let there be honesty. Let there be healing. Let there be respect. And if they don't come back, don't believe that your life has lost its purpose. God's plan for you is bigger than one relationship. You are still loved. You are still valuable. You are still chosen for a purpose. So today, say this in your heart. God, I surrender the person I cannot control. I surrender the future I cannot see. I trust you with everything. Then breathe. Let the fear go. Let the pressure go. Let God lead. Because sometimes the greatest miracle is not getting someone back. Sometimes the greatest miracle is discovering that you can have peace even without them. And when that peace comes, you will understand something beautiful. You never needed to control the ending. You only needed to trust the author. God is still writing your story. And He will never stop being faithful to you. Maybe you are standing at a place in your life where you have two choices. You can keep looking back. Or you can finally trust God enough to move forward. Looking back is easy when the past contains memories you still love. You remember the conversations. You remember the laughter. You remember the moments when everything felt perfect. And your heart asks, can I ever have that again? But God may be telling you, trust me. I have not finished with your story. You don't know what tomorrow will bring. But God does. You don't know whether that person will return. But God knows. You don't know which doors will open. But God already sees the path ahead. So don't let uncertainty steal today's peace. If that person belongs in your future, God can bring your paths together again. And if they don't, God can still lead you towards something beautiful. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to chase anyone. You don't have to spend every day checking your phone and waiting for a message. Live your life. Pray. Grow. Heal. And keep God at the center. Because when you trust God, you can finally stop being afraid of losing what was never meant to stay. Maybe the person you wanted was part of your journey. Maybe they taught you something. Maybe they helped you discover a part of yourself. Maybe they brought you closer to God. And maybe that was their purpose in your story. Not every person who touches your heart is meant to remain in your life forever. Some people are chapters. But God is the author. And He knows exactly where the story is going. So don't close the book because one chapter hurt. Keep reading. There is more ahead. There are still blessings you haven't seen. There are still prayers you haven't prayed. There are still dreams waiting for you. And there is still a future God can build beyond anything you imagined. So today, make a decision. You will stop living in fear. You will stop trying to control the outcome. You will stop measuring your worth by someone's attention. You will trust God. You will protect your peace. And you will keep moving forward. If that person returns, let the relationship be built on truth, healing, respect, and faith. If they don't return, let God heal your heart completely. Either way, you will be okay. Because God will be with you. And when God is with you, you are never truly alone. So breathe. Release the past. Release the questions. Release the fear. And say, Father, I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I trust you with tomorrow. Then take the next step. You don't need the whole map. You only need enough faith for today. And remember, the person you are waiting for may be part of your story. But they are not the author of your story. God is. And the author is not finished yet. Maybe this is the moment when you stop asking God to give you the person you want and start asking Him to give you the life He wants for you. Because sometimes we become so focused on one person that we forget the bigger picture. We think, if they come back, everything will be perfect. But your peace cannot depend on another person's decision. Your joy cannot depend on another person's presence. Your future cannot depend on another person's choice. God has something bigger for you. Maybe that person will return. Maybe they won't. But God's purpose for your life continues either way. So don't put your life on pause. Wake up every morning with purpose. Take care of yourself. Work toward your dreams. Pray. Learn. Grow. And keep becoming the person God created you to be. If someone is truly meant to walk beside you, they will meet you while you are walking forward. You don't need to stand still waiting for them. And if they don't come back, you will still be moving toward the future God has prepared. Remember, waiting on God is not wasting your life. Waiting means trusting Him while continuing to live faithfully. You can wait without being stuck. You can hope without being desperate. You can love someone without losing yourself. And you can surrender without losing hope. Maybe your heart still hurts. That's okay. Healing takes time. Don't rush it. Give your heart permission to heal. Give your mind permission to rest. And give God permission to work. You don't have to understand everything today. Some answers only make sense later. One day you may look back and say, God, now I understand why you didn't let me have what I wanted. Maybe He was protecting you. Maybe He was preparing you. Maybe He was redirecting you. Whatever the reason, His faithfulness was there all along. So keep trusting. When the answer is delayed, trust. When the door is closed, trust. When the relationship is uncertain, trust. When you feel lonely, trust. And when the blessing finally comes, remember to trust Him then too. Because God is not only the God of your breakthrough. He is also the God of your waiting season. He is with you when nothing seems to be happening. He is with you when everything changes. He is with you when your heart is full of questions. So don't give up. Your life is not defined by who stayed or who left. Your life is defined by the purpose God placed inside you. You still have a future. You still have a calling. You still have a reason to wake up tomorrow with hope. So release that person into God's hands. If they belong in your future, God knows how to bring them back. If they don't, God knows how to lead you forward. Either way, you can trust Him. And remember this. God will never stop being faithful to you. People may change. Circumstances may change. But God remains the same. So walk forward without fear. Let your heart heal. Let your faith grow. And let God write the. There will come a day when you look back at everything that happened and finally understand why God asked you to wait. Right now, you may only see the pain. You may see the empty space. You may see the unanswered questions. But God sees the entire picture. You see today. He sees tomorrow. You see the goodbye. He sees what comes after it. You see the closed door. He sees the road beyond it. That is why you can trust Him even when you don't understand. Maybe you are still hoping that someone will return. That's okay. Hope is not weakness. But don't let hope become an excuse to stop living. Keep moving. Keep growing. Keep praying. Keep becoming stronger. If God wants that person to return, He can make the right circumstances happen. And if God wants you to move forward, He can give you the strength to do it. You don't have to decide the entire future today. Just give God today. Give Him your heart today. Give Him your thoughts today. Give Him your worries today. Tomorrow will come when it comes. And God will already be there. Maybe you are afraid that letting go means giving up on love. It doesn't. Letting go means giving up control. You can still care about someone without chasing them. You can still pray for someone without waiting for them every day. You can still remember someone without allowing the past to control your future. That is freedom. And maybe God wants to give you that freedom right now. You don't need another person to prove that you are valuable. You don't need someone's attention to know that you are loved. You don't need someone's return to know that your life has meaning. God already sees your worth. He already knows your heart. He already knows your future. So stop measuring your value by someone else's choice. If they stayed, God is faithful. If they left, God is still faithful. If they return, God is faithful. If they never return, God is still faithful. His faithfulness is not controlled by circumstances. It comes from who He is. So today, choose peace. Choose faith. Choose patience. Choose God. And if your heart begins to worry again, remind yourself. I don't have to know the ending. God already does. That one thought can change your entire perspective. You are not walking into an unknown future alone. You are walking with the God who knows exactly where you are going. So don't be afraid. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. Your story is still unfolding. And maybe the chapter ahead will be the one that finally explains everything behind you. Until then, trust. Keep praying. Keep moving. And let God take care of what you cannot control. Because when you place your future in God's hands, you don't have to be afraid of what tomorrow brings. God is already there. And now, after everything we have been through in this story, there is only one thing left to do. Surrender. Maybe you came here because you were waiting for someone. Maybe you were hoping they would return. Maybe you were asking God for one more chance. But perhaps God brought you to this moment so you could understand something deeper. You don't have to control the ending. You only have to trust the one who is writing it. If that person is truly part of God's plan, God knows how to bring them back. And if they are not, God knows how to heal your heart and lead you somewhere better. Either way, you are not forgotten. You are not alone. And your story is not over. So don't spend another day living in fear of what might happen. Give God the person. Give God the memories. Give God the unanswered questions. Give God your future. And then walk forward. Because your life is bigger than one relationship. Your purpose is bigger than one person. And God's plan is bigger than anything you can see right now. Maybe today you are crying. Maybe today you are confused. Maybe today you don't understand why God allowed everything to happen. But one day, you may look back and say, "Now I understand." You may realize that the heartbreak strengthened you. The waiting matured you. The silence taught you patience. And the pain brought you closer to God. So don't hate the chapter you are currently living. God can use even the hardest chapter for something beautiful. And remember this. People may leave. People may change. People may disappoint you. But God remains. When your heart is broken, He remains. When your prayers seem unanswered, He remains. When you feel completely alone, He remains. And when everything finally changes, He will still remain. That is why you can keep going. So tonight, say one final prayer. Father, I surrender everything to you. I trust your timing. I trust your wisdom. I trust your plan. If someone is meant to walk with me, bring them according to your will. If I must walk a different road, give me the courage to follow you. Heal my heart, protect my peace, and never let me lose my faith. Now breathe. Let the past go. Let the fear go. And step into tomorrow with faith. Because the ending you were afraid of may become the beginning you never expected. Your story continues. Your future is still ahead. And God is still writing. So don't give up. Don't lose hope. Don't stop believing. Trust God with your whole heart. Because when you cannot see the way, God can still make a way. And when you cannot see the future, God is already there. This chapter ends here. But your journey with God continues. Amen.